As kingfishers catch fire, dragonflies draw flame. By Gerald Manley Hopkins. Read for LibriVox.org by Winston Tharp. As kingfishers catch fire, dragonflies draw flame. As tumbled over rim and roundy wells stones ring, like each tucked string tells, each hung bell's bow swung finds tongue to fling out broad its name. Each mortal thing does one thing and the same, deals out that being indoors each one dwells, selves goes itself, myself it speaks and spells, crying, what I do is me, for that I came. I say more, the just man justices, keeps grace, that keeps all his goings graces, acts in God's eye what in God's eye he is, Christ. For Christ plays in 10,000 places, lovely in limbs and lovely in eyes not his, to the Father through the features of men's faces. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Auntie by Edgar A. Guest. Read for LibriVox.org by Christine Lehman, Reseda, California. I'm sorry for a feller if he hasn't any aunt to let him eat and do the things his mother says he can't. An aunt to come a-visitin' or one to go and see is just about the finest kind of lady there could be. Of course she's not your mother, and she hasn't got her ways, but a part that's most important in a feller's life she plays. She is kind and she is gentle, and sometimes she's full of fun, and she's very sympathetic when some dreadful thing you've done, and she likes to buy you candy, and she's always gettin' toys that you wish your pa would get you, for she hasn't any boys. But sometimes she's over-loving, and your cheeks turn red with shame when she smothers you with kisses, but you like her just the same. One time my father took me to my auntie's, and he said, "You will stay here till I get you, and be sure you go to bed when your auntie says it's time to, and be good and mind her too, and when you come home we'll try to have a big surprise for you." I did as I was told to, and when Pa came back for me, he said there was a baby at the house for me to see. I've been visitin' at Auntie's for a week or two, and Pa has written that he's comin' soon to take me home to Ma. He says they're gettin' lonely, and I'm kinda lonely too, 'cause an aunt is not exactly what your mother is to you. I am hungry now to see her, but I'm wondering today if Pa's bought another baby in the time I've been away. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Blow Me Eyes by Wallace Irwin. Read for LibriVox.org by Leonard Wilson of Springfield, Ohio. When I was young and full of pride, a-standin' on the grass and gazin' o'er the waterside, I seen a fisher lass. "Oh, fisher lass, be kind awhile," I asks her, quite unbid. "Please look into me face and smile." And blow me eyes she did. Oh, blow me light and blow me blow, I didn't think she'd charm me so, but blow me eyes she did. She seemed so young and beautiful, I had to speak polite. The afternoon was long and dull, but she was short and bright. "This ain't no place," I says, "to stand. Let's take a walk instead." Each holdin' of the other's hands, and blow me eyes she did. Oh, blow me light and blow me blow, I sorta thunk she wouldn't go, but blow me eyes she did. And as we walked along a lane, with no one else to see, me heart was filled with sudden pain, and so I says to she, "If you would have me actions speak the words what can't be hid, you'd sorta let me kiss your cheek." And blow me eyes, she did. Oh, blow me light and blow me blow, how sweet she was I didn't know. But blow me eyes, she did. But pretty soon me shipmate Jim came strollin' down the beach, and she began a-oglin' him as pretty as a peach. Oh, fickle maid of false intent, impulsively I chid, why don't you go and wed that gent? And blow me eyes, she did. Oh, blow me light and blow me blow, I didn't think she'd treat me so. But blow me eyes, she did. End the poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Catterskill Falls by William Cullen Bryant. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. Catterskill Falls. Midst greens and shades the Catterskill leaps, from cliffs where the woodflower clings. All summer he moistens his verdant steeps with the sweet light spray of the mountain springs, and he shakes the woods on the mountain side when they drip with the rains of autumn tide. But when in the forest bare and old the blast of December calls, he builds, in the starlight clear and cold, a palace of ice where his torrent falls, with turret and arch and fretwork fair, and pillars blue as the summer air. For whom are those glorious chambers wrought, in the cold and cloudless night? Is there neither spirit nor motion of thought in forms so lovely and hues so bright? Hear what the grey-haired woodmen tell of this wild stream and its rocky dell. 'Twas hither a youth of dreamy mood 100 winters ago had wandered over the mighty wood, when the panther's track was fresh on the snow, and keen were the winds that came to stir the long dark boughs of the hemlock fir. Too gentle of mien he seemed and fair for a child of those rugged steeps. His home lay low in the valley where the kingly Hudson rolls to the deeps, but he wore the hunter's frock that day, and a slender gun on his shoulder lay. And here he paused, and against the trunk of a tall grey linden leant, when the broad clear orb of the sun had sunk from his path in the frosty firmament, and over the round dark edge of the hill a cold green light was quivering still. And the crescent moon, high over the green, from a sky of crimson shone on that icy palace whose towers were seen to sparkle as if with stars of their own, while the water fell with a hollow sound twixt the glistening pillars ranged around. Is that a being of life that moves where the crystal battlements rise? A maiden watching the moon she loves at the twilight hour with pensive eyes? Was that a garment which seemed to gleam betwixt the eye and the falling stream? 'Tis only the torrent tumbling over in the midst of those glassy walls, gushing and plunging and beating the floor of the rocky basin in which it falls. 'Tis only the torrent, but why that start? Why gazes the youth with a throbbing heart? He thinks no more of his home afar, where his sire and sister wait. He heeds no longer how star after star looks forth on the night as the hour grows late. He heeds not the snow wreaths lifted and cast from 1,000 boughs by the rising blast. His thoughts are alone of those who dwell in the halls of frost and snow, who pass where the crystal domes upswell from the alabaster floors below, where the frost trees shoot with leaf and spray, and frost gems scatter a silvery day. And oh, that glorious haunts were mine, he speaks, and throughout the glen thin shadows swim in the faint moonshine, and take a ghastly likeness of men, as if the slain by the wintry storms came forth to the air in their earthly forms. There pass the chasers of seal and whale, with their weapons quaint and grim, and hands of warriors in glittering mail, and herdsmen and hunters huge of limb. There are naked arms with bow and spear, and furry gauntlets the carbine rare. There are mothers, and oh how sadly their eyes on their children's white brows rest. There are youthful lovers, the maiden lies in a seeming sleep on the chosen breast. There are fair wan women with moonstruck air, the snow stars necking their long loose hair. They eye him not as they pass along, but his hair stands up with dread, when he feels that he moves with that phantom throng, till those icy turrets are over his head, and the torrent's roar as they enter seems like a drowsy murmur heard in dreams. The glittering threshold is scarcely passed, when there gathers and wraps him round a thick white twilight, sullen and vast, in which there is neither form nor sound. The phantoms, the glory, vanish all with the dying voice of the waterfall. Slow passes the darkness of that trance, and the youth now faintly sees huge shadows and gushes of light that dance on a rugged ceiling of unhewn trees, and walls where the skins of beasts are hung, and rifles glitter on antlers strung. On a couch of shaggy skins he lies, as he strives to raise his head. Hard-featured woodmen with kindly eyes come round him and smooth his furry bed, and bid him rest, for the evening star is scarcely set and the day is far. They had found at eve the dreaming one, by the base of that icy steep, when over his stiffening limbs begun the deadly slumber of frost to creep. And they cherished the pale and breathless form, till the stagnant blood ran free and warm. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Clinging Back by Henry Lawson. Read for LibriVox.org by Son of the Exiles. Clinging Back. When you see a man come walking down through George Street loose and free, suit of saddled tweed and soft shirt and a belt and cabbage tree, with the careless swing and carriage and the confidence you lack, there is freedom in Australia. He's a man that's clinging back, holding back, to the old things and the bold things, clinging back. When you see a woman riding, as I saw one ride today, down the street to Milson's Ferry on a big upstanding bay, with her body gently swaying to the horseshoe's click-a-clack, you might lift your hat with caution. She's a girl who's clinging back, swinging back, to the old things and the bold things, clinging back. When you see a rich man pulling on the harbour in a boat, with the motor launches racing till they scarcely seem to float, and the little skiff is lifting to his muscles tense and slack, you say, "Go it!" to a sane man. He's a man that's clinging back, swinging back, to the old things and the bold things, clinging back. When you see two lovers strolling, arm in arm or round the waist, and they never seem to loiter, and they never seem to haste, but indifferent to others take the rock or bush-hid track, you be sure about their future. They're a pair that's clinging back, holding back, to the old things and the bold things, clinging back. I, a weary picture writer, in a time that's cruel plain, have been clinging all too sadly to what shall not come again. To what shall not come and should not, for the silver's mostly black, and the gold a dull red copper by the springs where I held back, clinging back, holding back, to the old things and the cold things, clinging back. But if you should read a writer sending truths home every time, while his every point goes ringing like the grandest prose in rhyme, though he writes the people's grammar and he spreads the people's clack, he is stronger than the public, and he'll jerk the mad world back. Yank it back, hold it back. For the love of little children, hold it back. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Cynical Ode to an Ultra-Cynical Public by Charles Mackay, Read for LibriVox.org by Leonard Wilson of Springfield, Ohio. You prefer a buffoon to a scholar, a harlequin to a teacher, a jester to a statesman, an anonyma flaring on horseback to a modest and spotless woman. Brute of a public! You think that to sneer shows wisdom, that a jibe outvalues a reason, that slang, such as thieves delight in, is fit for the lips of the gentle, and rather a grace than a blemish. Thick-headed public! You think that if merit's exalted, 'tis excellent sport to decry it, and trail its good name in the gutter, and that cynics, white-gloved and cravatted, are the cream and quintessence of all things. Ass of a public! You think that success must be merit, that honor and virtue and courage are all very well in their places, but that money's 1,000 times better. Detestable, stupid, degraded pig of a public! End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Damsel Mattie by George Borrow. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. Damsel Mattie. Knights Peter and Olaf, they sat over the board, betwixt them in jesting passed many a word. Now hear thou, Sir Olaf, my comrade, do tell, why thou hast never wedded some fair demoiselle. What need with a housewife myself to distress, so long as my little gold horn I possess? So long as my little gold horn I possess, I lure every maid I may wish to caress. The damsel is not in the world to be found, but what I can lure with that little horn's sound. I know a proud damsel that dwells by the rill, on her thou couldst never accomplish thy will. I'll gage my war courser, the steady and tried, thou never canst lure the fair Mattie, my bride. Against him I'll gage my grey courser of power, that she shall this evening repair to my bower. My courser so proud, and my neck bones so white, I'll gage that I'll lure the fair Mattie this night. 'Twas late in the evening, mist fell from the skies, Sir Olaf he plays in his very best guise. Sir Olaf he plays on his gold harp a strain, that heard the proud Mattie far over the plain. Sir Olaf a tune on his golden horn blew, to the house of fair Mattie the thrilling sounds flew. Long stood the fair Mattie and listened thereto. Now shall I or not to that horn player go? Long stood damsel Mattie in doubt and in care. No one of my maidens take with me I dare. The maid and the little brown messan, her friend, through the paths of the forest so lonely they went. Her mantle of blue the fair Mattie puts on, and unto the bower of Sir Olaf she's gone. On the door of the chamber she gave a low knock. Sir Olaf, I pray thee, arise and unlock. Oh, none have I summoned to me at this hour, and unto no one will I open my door. Sir Olaf, arise, let me in I request. At what I have heard I'm so sorely distressed. At what thou hast heard, be thou glad or distressed, thou comest not into my bower of rest. But soon should the door to thee open, I wot, provided Sir Peter thy sweetheart were not. Although in my heart I may love thee full dear, Sir Peter for me to admit thee's too near. Sir Olaf, arise, let me in I implore. The night dew falls chilly my scarlet dress o'er. Though chill fall the night dew thy scarlet dress o'er, I dare not, O Mattie, fling open my door. Since into thy bower thou lett'st me not come, O let thy swains guide me, dear heart, to my home. The night it is bright, and the moon sheds her ray. Fair maid, thou wilt find without trouble thy way. The moon's in the sky, and shines clear over the mead, so back by thyself to thy chamber proceed. The maid and her little brown messan, her friend, they home through the forest so lonely must wend. And when to the gate of the castle she came, Sir Peter was leaning against it his frame. Thrice welcome, thou proud Mettelil. Say, where hast thou been in the night season still? I walked out, my lord, by no mortal eye seen, and I gathered the herbs, both the blue and the green. The herbs I collected with diligent hand, which just at this season in fullest bloom stand. I stood in the meadows throughout the long night, and harked to the nightingale's song with delight. No, not to the song from the nightingale's throat, but unto Sir Olaf his gilded horn's note. This night's walk, and others of similar sort, will make thee the subject of common report. The walk of this night, and perhaps many more, by the saints, my fair Mettie, this walking give o'er. Now hear thou, proud Mettie, to bed hie away, and neath the white linen thy fair body lay. Depart to thy bed, that I rede thee to do, wouldst have me remain to thee tender and true. I've lost now my courser, the steady and tried, because thou hast proved thee a false fickle bride. And what became of her no man ever knew, nor whither her ashes before the wind flew. But as soon as her bower in ruddy flame blazed, in the breast of Sir Peter such anguish was raised. Sir Peter he grieved to his very death day, Sir Olaf never ventured to cross his friend's way. I counsel each swain in affectionate part to tempt not too hardly the maid of his heart. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Dying by Emily Dickinson. Read for LibriVox.org by Winston Tharp. I heard a fly buzz when I died. The stillness round my form was like the stillness in the air between the heaves of storm. The eyes beside had wrung them dry, and breaths were gathering sure for that last onset when the king be witnessed in his power. I willed my keepsakes, signed away what portion of me I could make assignable, and then there interposed a fly, with blue, uncertain, stumbling buzz between the light and me. And then the windows failed, and then I could not see to see. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Epigram by Thomas Moore. Read for LibriVox.org by Shakira. July 2016. Your mother says, my little Venus, there's something not correct between us, and you're in fault as much as I. Now on my soul, my little Venus, I think 'twould not be right between us to let your mother tell a lie. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Escape at Bedtime by Robert Louis Stevenson. Read for LibriVox.org by Nate Butenmiller. The lights from the parlor and kitchen shone out through the blinds and the windows and bars, and high overhead and all moving about there were thousands of millions of stars. There ne'er were such thousands of leaves on a tree, nor of people in church or the park, as the crowds of the stars that looked down upon me, and that glittered and winked in the dark. The dog and the plough and the hunter and all, and the star of the sailor and Mars, these shone in the sky, and the pail by the wall would be half full of water and stars. They saw me at last, and they chased me with cries, and they soon had me packed into bed. But the glory kept shining and bright in my eyes, and the stars going round in my head. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Last Rose of Summer by Thomas Moore. Read for LibriVox.org by Thomas Peter. 'Tis the last rose of summer left blooming alone. All her lovely companions are faded and gone. No flower of her kindred, no rosebud is nigh, to reflect back her blushes, to give sigh for sigh. I'll not leave thee, thou lone one, to pine on the stem, since the lovely are sleeping. Go, sleep thou with them. Thus kindly I scatter thy leaves o'er the bed, where thy mates of the garden lie scentless and dead. So soon may I follow, when friendships decay, and from love's shining circle the gems drop away. When true hearts lie withered and fond ones are flown, oh, who would inhabit this bleak world alone? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Listening by Amy Lowell. Read for LibriVox.org by Shakira. July 2016. 'Tis you that are the music, not your song. The song is but a door which, opening wide, lets forth the pent-up melody inside. Your spirit's harmony, which clear and strong sings but of you. Throughout your whole life long, your songs, your thoughts, your doings, each divide this perfect beauty, waves within a tide, or single notes amid a glorious throng. The song of earth has many different chords. Ocean has many moods and many tones, yet always ocean. In the damp spring woods the painted trillium smiles, while crisp pine cones autumn alone can ripen. So is this one music with 1,000 cadences. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Lovers by Arthur Adams. Read for LibriVox.org by Newgate Novelist. I thought, because we had been friends so long, that I knew all your dear lips dared intend before they dawned to speech. Our thoughts would blend, I dreamed, like memories that faintly throng. Your voice dwelt in me like an olden song. Petal, methought, from petal I could rend the blossom of your soul, and at the end find still the same sweet fragrance. I was wrong. Last evening in our eyes love brimmed to birth, our friendship faded, lost in passion's mist. We had been strangers only. Here, close caught against my heart, the dim face I had sought so long, and now the only thing on earth, your piteous mouth a tremble to be kissed. End of poem.
The Musician's Grave by Lennox Emmett. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. The Musician's Grave. The late John Emmett, for over 30 years organist of Gloucester Cathedral, who fell dead immediately after the rendering of the anthem, "Oh that I had the wings of a dove, for then would I flee away and be at rest." Thou art gone like the meteor that blazed in the sky, and the spot thou hast smiled upon knows thee no more. Is there no one that heaves over thy ashes a sigh? Is there none to regret? Is there none to deplore? Thy note, it is silent. Thy song, it is hushed. No more shall thy music entrance or enthrall. The music that like the blue rivulet gushed, a finger of terror has silenced it all. When far through the cloisters the anthem was stealing, thy heart was ablaze with a heavenly ray. When thy organ was softly and tenderly pealing, or the bass of thy burden was rolling away. Thy vespers were sweet, and thy exquisite numbers swelled gently and hung on the tremulous air, and, light as the prayer before infancy's slumbers, ascended on high, thou hast followed them there. And like the dim eve was thy spirit's repose, when loftily over thee, while musing alone, within the cathedral thine echoes arose, and melted to feeling the passionless stone. While sculptured recess and immortalized shrine and far-stretching arches were bathed in the flood of the lingering sunset whose beauties were thine, and the motionless figures were blazoned in blood. But an undertone rose through the chords like a wail, 'twas thy elegy mourning thee deep in the sound. Soon, soon did that something of sadness prevail, and the minors commingled and fell to the ground. Rest peacefully, minstrel, he took thee who gave, that passion is still that once swelled in thy lay. Thy notes are departed, thy fame is thy grave, for the angels descended and bore thee away. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Net by Sarah Teasdale. Read for LibriVox.org by Shakira. July 2016. I made you many and many a song, yet never one told all you are. It was as though a net of words were flung to catch a star. It was as though I curved my hand and dipped sea-water eagerly, only to find it lost the blue dark splendor of the sea. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Relic by John Donne. Read for LibriVox.org by Newgate Novelist. When my grave is broke up again, some second guest to entertain, for graves have learned that woman had to be to more than one a bed, and he that digs it spies a bracelet of bright hair about the bone. Will he not let us alone, and think that there a loving couple lies, who thought that this device might be some way to make their souls, at the last busy day, meet at this grave, and make a little stay? If this fall in a time or land where misdevotion doth command, then he that digs us up will bring us to the bishop and the king to make us relics. Then thou shalt be a Mary Magdalene, and I a something else thereby. All women shall adore us, and some men. And since at such time miracles are sought, I would have that age by this paper taught what miracles we harmless lovers wrought. First, we loved well and faithfully, yet knew not what we loved, nor why. Difference of sex no more we knew than our guardian angels do. Coming and going we perchance might kiss, but not between those meals. Our hands ne'er touch the seals which nature, injured by late law, sets free. These miracles we did. But now, alas, all measure and all language I should pass, should I tell what a miracle she was. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Stanzas to Rhubarb by the O'Grady. Read for LibriVox.org by John Burlinson. O bright newcomer, I have seen, I see thee, and rejoice. Though what the costerman may mean, I judge not by his voice. I see thee, and to either eye the tears unbidden start. O rhubarb, shall I call thee pie, or art thou truly tart? I was not wont thy charms to see, when childhood stubborn stood fixed in the faith that thou must be too wholesome to be good. Just as we loved the cloying jam, by no effects dismayed, regarding as a bitter sham the honest marmalade. When daffodillies deck the shops, and hyacinths indoors recall the flavor of the drops we used to suck by scores, Pear drops they were, a subtle blend of hyacinthine smell. And the banana's blackest end, we loved them, and were well. When chrysalis buds are folded thick, and crocuses awake, and, like celestial almonds, stick in Flora's tipsy cake, before the crews are on the Thames, the swallows on the wing, the radiant rhubarb bundle flames the lictor rod of spring. Still reluctant winter keeps some chill surprise in store, and spring through frosty curtain peeps on snowdrifts at her door. The full moon smites the leafless trees, so full it bursts with light, till the sharp shadows seem to freeze along the highway white. Yet the keen wind has heard the song of summer far away, and though he's got the music wrong, we know what he would say. For in the vegetable cart the radiant stalks we spy. Oh, rhubarb, should we call thee tart, or art thou merely pie? And why not so? The cushat dove to such a shrine we trust, though in dumb protest she will shove her tootsies through the crust. And larks that sing at heaven's gate when April clouds are nigh, not seldom gain the gourmet's plate through portals of the pie. So thou, sweet harbinger of spring, gules of her blazoned field, if in a pie thy praise we sing, to worthy fate wilt yield. Enough, I sing, let others eat. Be mine the poet's lot. The thought of thee is all too sweet. The taste of thee is not. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Summer Sun by Robert Louis Stevenson. Read for LibriVox.org by Thomas Peter. Great is the sun, and wide he goes Through empty heaven without repose, And in the blue and glowing days More thick than rain he showers his rays. Though closer still the blinds we pull To keep the shady parlor cool, Yet he will find a chink or two To slip his golden fingers through. The dusty attic, spider clad, he, through the keyhole, maketh glad, and through the broken edge of tiles Into the laddered hayloft smiles. Meantime his golden face around He bears to all the garden ground, And sheds a warm and glittering look Among the ivy's inmost nook. Above the hills, along the blue, Round the bright air with footing true, To please the child, to paint the rose, The gardener of the world he goes. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sundown by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Read for LibriVox.org by Leonard Wilson of Springfield, Ohio. The summer sun is sinking low. Only the tree-tops redden and glow. Only the weathercock on the spire Of the neighboring church is a flame of fire. All is in shadow below. O beautiful, awful summer day, what hast thou given, what taken away? Life and death, and love and hate, homes made happy or desolate, hearts made sad or gay. On the road of life 1 milestone more, in the book of life 1 leaf turned o'er. Like a red seal is the setting sun on the good and the evil men have done. Naught can today restore. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
to A Hummingbird in a Garden by George Murray. Read for LibriVox.org by Thomas Peter. Blithe playmate of the summer time, admiringly I greet thee. Born in old England's misty clime, I scarcely hoped to meet thee. Com'st thou from forests of Peru, or from Brazil's savannas, where flowers of every dazzling hue flaunt, gorgeous as sultanas? Thou scannest me with doubtful gaze, suspicious little stranger. Fear not, thy burnished wings may blaze, secure from harm or danger. Now here, now there, thy flash is seen, like some stray sunbeam darting, with scarce a second's space between its coming and departing. Mate of the bird that lives sublime in Pat's immortal blunder, spied in two places at a time, thou challengest our wonder. Suspended by thy slender bill, sweet blooms thou lov'st to rifle, the subtle perfumes they distil might well thy being stifle. Surely the honeydew of flowers is slightly alcoholic, or why, through burning August hours, dost thou pursue thy frolic? What though thy throatlet never rings with music, soft or stirring, still, like a spinning wheel, thy wings incessantly are whirring. How dearly I would love to see thy tiny cara sposa, as full of sensibility as any coy mimosa. They say when hunters track her nest where two warm pearls are lying, she boldly fights, though sore distressed, and sends the brigands flying. What dainty epithets thy tribes have won from men of science! Pedantic and poetic scribes for once are in alliance. Crested coquette and azure crown, sun jewel, ruby-throated, with flaming topaz, crimson down, are names that may be quoted. Such titles aim to paint the hues that on the darlings glitter, and were we for a week to muse, we scarce could light on fitter. Farewell, bright bird! I envy thee, gay rainbow-tinted rover. Would that my life, like thine, were free from care till all is over. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
A Valediction Forbidding Morning by John Donne. Read for LibriVox.org by Newgate Novelist. As virtuous men pass mildly away, and whisper to their souls to go, whilst some of their sad friends do say, the breath goes now, and some say, no. So let us melt, and make no noise, no tear floods, nor sigh tempests move. 'Twere profanation of our joys to tell the laity our love. Moving of the earth brings harms and fears, men reckon what it did and meant, but trepidation of the spheres, though greater far, is innocent. Dull sublunary lovers' love, whose soul is sense, cannot admit absence, because it doth remove those things which elemented it. But we, by a love so much refined that ourselves know not what it is, interassured of the mind, care less eyes, lips, and hands to miss. Our two souls, therefore, which are one, though I must go, endure not yet a breach, but an expansion, like gold to airy thinness beat. If they be two, they are two so, as stiff twin compasses are two. Thy soul, the fixed foot, makes no show to move, but doth, if th' other do. And though it in the centre sit, yet when the other far doth roam, it leans, and hearkens after it, and grows erect as that comes home. Such wilt thou be to me, who must, like th' other foot, obliquely run. Thy firmness makes my circle just, and makes me end where I begun. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.